One of our very close friend, actually, she actually got scammed by somebody who is in the delivery kind of a space.
Another elaborate and extremely sophisticated cybercrime scandal called the parcel scam has been making the rounds lately. Here's how it goes.
The customer's data was leaked and it was spread over many countries in the world. So we want to be that helping hands for the cybercrime victims.
So on Monday morning, usually when you're most worked up to leave for office, I received an IVR call from FedEx.
Recently, if you have heard, Boat had some of its data leak. The customer's data leaked.
And while popular Indian audio product and smartwatch maker Boat is the latest victim of a cyber attack. Personal information of more than 7.5 million customers is now available on the dark web.
So this is why cybersecurity is very important in today's world.
Is this my responsibility to give the data to the government and then also be concerned about that data being given?
I don't think that's really our job to be concerned if the government is using our data, in such way or any other way. But as a citizen, what I feel is that we should be aware and we should be spreading awareness among ourselves, about how we can keep ourselves safe. That's where a non-governmental organization like us comes, where we work closely with the government and actually tell them what's happening in the ground. Consent, right? I mean, how much you want to give data to that company, what kind of data you want to give to that company. The SP Pankaj Raspenia has been very helpful towards all these awareness activities that we do. So whenever we visit the cyber police station and we talk to the authorities, most of them, they say that, when the victims, they come to the police station, they try to sway away that they have not done anything wrong, right? Because
I think when you share your personal details, any other third-party application, they are these scam.
yeah, so at Data Yug Society, we truly believe the only way to go is awareness.
Welcome, Bikash. Welcome to episode 9 of the podcast with Amit Baruah. Delighted to have you. Data security is quite a thing. We use data like never before. Hamara, probably a generation is born into a data-driven society. Welcome to the show. Tell us what is Data Yug. Tell us what Bikash is and how
Yeah.
Bikash got into this, and
Yeah.
then we delve into Data Yug.
Right. First of all, thanks for having me here, Amit. Really delighted to be here. So yeah, I'm Bikash Chetri and I'm the Joint Secretary in Data Yug Society. I'm also the founding members when we started Data Yug Society. Our founder is Menuka Nag Meheto. So we started this journey in 2023. We got registered in 2023 as a NGO by Register of Societies in Meghalaya. So Data Yug Society came with a very simple vision that we want people of Meghalaya and people of Northeast, especially to start with, that they have to be digitally literate. As we see after COVID, the cybercrime and the digitalization has just taken its speed, going at an amazing speed, and everybody is in their phone, getting their content more digitalization and cybercrime. That is the two pillars of so small influence as well are good them. That we started in this and start an organization who not only focus on literacy but also act in a system because not everybody comfortable for administration cybercrime victims. And yeah, I've been a digital marketer for the last 4 years. I started my journey back in 2020, and I've been working with some leading brands like Truecaller, Bracto, These are some of the brands that I've worked for in my previous stint in the digital marketing agency. After that, I also had my own startup. Yeah, I did some travel. I worked in the travel space in Meghalaya. We were very closely associated with Prime Meghalaya for some time. We worked with them as well. So that has been my journey. And coming to Data Yug Society, I think that's really somewhere I really feel my passion is, because talking to students, talking to like-minded individuals like yours, it really is, pushing me into a new perspective in the world. So yeah, this has been a journey so far. Yeah.
Great, great. I'm glad that you spoke about digitalization and cybersecurity. Just for
Yeah.
the viewers, could you tell us what cybersecurity is? Like, what is cybersecurity?
Yeah, so cybersecurity, in the layman term, if I have to say, it's basically providing a framework to protect all your digital accounts or your social media accounts. So cybersecurity can be for individuals, can be for companies. For if I have to talk about individuals, cybersecurity are like basic things that you can do to keep yourself, protected from people who want to invade into your system or who want to put a malware into your device. So cybersecurity, but for companies, can be a whole different ballgame, because they are dealing data in huge quantity. They're collecting and they're analyzing data so much. So for companies, there are a lot of, now if you see, a lot of software as self-service SaaS products are really coming up in our Indian digital ecosystem, where these kind of SaaS products are actually built for companies who can protect their data, their customers' data. Recently, if you have heard, Boat had some of its data leak. The customers' data leaked. The customers' data was leaked, and it was spread over many countries in the world. So this is why cybersecurity is very important in today's world, and cybersecurity has to be incorporated not just in companies but also in different government authorities now, because our government is dealing with so much data of our of citizens. So cybersecurity is really a thing that we all should be, yeah, focusing on.
Just the way you put it, two questions that basically pops in my mind at this moment. You said you were working for Truecaller. Now, Truecaller is something that actually a lot of people
Works on this.
used, because it gave them that assurance of who the caller on the other side was.
Right.
So that, to an extent, is security,
Mhm.
right? Because I don't really want to be talking to unknown people and scammers and spammers at this present juncture. The second question, the government is dealing with like a lot of data, right? The government is supposed to be concerned. Why am I supposed to be concerned as a normal individual? Like this sort of a dilemma that pops in.
Mhm.
Now, is this my responsibility to give the data to the government and then also be concerned about that data being given? What is your understanding of this situation? Put that you have worked for a company that dealt with security and data and managed that. So, what is your overall understanding in this perspective?
Yeah, so Truecaller, I think it's a Swedish company to start with. Most of us, we mistake itself to be an Indian company, but it's actually a Swedish company. But the reason why we feel that Truecaller is an Indian company, because it has its operation in India for a very long time. So ever since they started doing it in India, because India really faces that issue, right? Because the population is huge, and there are people who want to go that way in the direction of trying to victimize people, or trying to scam people. So Truecaller really has taken an initiative and has introduced actually new features just for the Indian subcontinent, because they understand that the consumer that they are dealing with in India is completely different from European region. So they have introduce a lot of new features that is only meant for India. Like you can see when a spam call comes, you directly get the notification that a spam call, this is a spam call. Or if somebody has saved a number from a different name, then you can also fetch that. If you don't want to pick up any stranger's call, you can also verify that on Truecaller. So Truecaller has really done that. And basically, when I was working with Truecaller, we were working on video films, brand films, where we did awareness campaign on Women's Day and about how women can actually, protect themselves from guys who want to stalk them, or who wants to follow them in some ways. So Truecaller, yeah, it's been doing good work in India. And to answer that question, government authorities, if they are doing something, so last year, I think, 2023, I think. So the government of India has just launched the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. So it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was introduced in 2019. So, with the Indian system, it almost took us 5 years to pass that bill. And now I think the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill has actually been implemented in few phases. We will be seeing that in 2025, because in 2024 just the whole framework has been set about what kind of personal data companies can keep, and if there's any global company which is dealing in India, which is maybe doing a transaction in India, how they will be processing data and what kind of information they can only fetch. So yes, as a citizen, we should be aware of it. I don't think that's really our job to be concerned if the government is using our data in such way or any other way. But as a citizen, what I feel is that we should be aware, and we should be spreading awareness among ourselves, about how we can keep ourselves safe. Government will always be doing their work. I believe we also have a part to play in, telling them what is the need of the consumer. That's where a non-governmental organization like us comes, where we work closely with the government and actually tell them what's happening in the ground, what kind of problems people are facing in filing a case, how reluctant they are, to just come to a police station and say that, they have been scammed. Because with the story when I started, that why Data Yug Society started, and when that woman got scammed, she had to move to so many police stations in Guwahati here, because the authority said that she has to go there because the crime happened there. Because if you see, authorities can only do so much, right? As a
jurisdiction only there.
Yeah, can only do so much. So, but it's our job to actually be aware ourselves, to educate ourselves, because we are moving very fast in this world. Data driven society. And companies, even for companies, all the decisions they are taking, it's all data driven these days. How they are funneling customers into different stages, how they are using data, and if they are taking any consent. So that's one of the things in the Digital Protection Data Bill, the consent, right? I mean, how much you want to give data to that company, what kind of data you want to give to that company. So that framework has been set, and I truly believe that this data bill can do some wonders for our country in terms of protecting our citizens from cybercrime. But yeah, I mean, we have to see about that, for sure, how it plays out.
So, can you tell us the kind of scams that people get into because they unknowingly might have just shared a particular thing or a data? Say, I would be very maybe I wouldn't really pay a lot of attention to sharing my number and my age and
Correct.
Name and address to a third-party application, but because I want to use their services. But how can that simple piece of information turn out devastating results for me? I mean, how will that pan out?
So when we closely talk to the authorities, right? We work very closely with the cyber wing of Meghalaya Police. The SP Pankaj Rasgania has been very helpful towards all these awareness activities that we do. So whenever we visit the cyber police station and we talk to the authorities, most of them, they say that, when the victims, they come to the police station, they try to sway away that they have not done anything wrong, right? Because if I've come to the police station and I say that I've lost 2 lakhs of rupees, I'm not going to admit that I did the mistake. I gave the OTP or I clicked on a link, right? I'm going to try to blame the scammer, right? That he solicited me this, or he forced me into this, right? But most of the times that a scam has happened, it's because of a greed, or it's because of a purpose that we thought would be beneficial to us. If I have to give an example of investment scam, right, that has been huge rise in 2024 because stock markets were at high. It was a completely bull market, I would say, the whole year. So in 2024 we saw a huge rise in investment scam. I think there was a case in Assam as well, where a person from Assam had scammed for a huge amount of money. So I think all these victims who got trapped into this scam, they were expecting some unrealistic return from a minimal amount of money. So I think for the first step, I think we should not be too tempted into this too good to be true offers that we see online, or if somebody has told you that, okay, I'll be short selling you some stocks, or I'll be giving you some tips about this other stock you should be getting. So I think we should first verify the authenticity of where this information is coming. I think that's one of the first thing we should do. And we should also, if I have to talk about investment scam, we should only do trading from a verified kind of a stock traders. Yeah.
Correct. That I understand. My question here was again, how can simple sharing of my name, address, and age can mean devastating results? As in, when you share your personal details with any other third-party application, can I be scammed?
Yeah, so if you're sharing just your basic details, and if that's a company who is taking consent with you, I don't think it can be a problem. I don't think it can be a problem if you're just sharing your basic data. But what is basic data, right? It could be just your name and your age. So companies could be using that to influence some behavior from you, for sure. If some company has gotten hold of your track, right, that yes, okay, Amit is interested in this, Amit is interested in all these things, so they can be influencing your behavior according to that, for sure. But in terms of scam, I don't think they can directly scam you there, because there are a lot of other credentials that you should keep hold of, like your credit card details, your debit card details. These are the things you should never share. But if a company, if you suppose you are approaching some manufacturer or supplier, right, who is not from India and they are from outside, so you'll be sharing your basic details, you'll be sharing your basic demographic. So you should first verify who are you contacting with, who are you reaching out with.
Correct. It sounds very easy because for people who can read and write at least and are at least aware of what is going on in the society. Banks present day send you notifications as on we don't call you for your OTP and
Correct.
in fact we don't even call you for all of these details. They keep on constantly messaging that, but yet people still get scammed.
Yeah.
Your credit card is blocked and this and that over these scams. How do we reach out to these people who actually need this help, and how do we make a difference? How do we educate the masses on this?
Yeah, so at Data Yug Society, we truly believe the only way to go is awareness. Because once, suppose you did, got trapped into this, a digital arrest scam. So that's something that is happening, right? A digital arrest scam is somewhere where you got a video call, or you got a call and somebody's impersonating a, government official, and they are trying to digitally arrest you in that place for an hour or 2 hours and get some credentials from you. So in those cases, I think the first thing you should do is contact the authorities, if that's possible in that scenario. And if it's not, you should not just reveal any data, and you should not be intimidated that somebody has received a call or somebody has called you. Because like one thing you said, right, what do the people who are not very literate do? So the only way to go is awareness. This is why we feel before somebody is trapped into a cyber scam or a cyber crime, we want to make the public aware of it. We want, and if I have to tell you the scammers point of view, they have been being very creative, and they have been adapting to what the officials are doing as well. As much as we are tracking the scammers, they are also tracking what authorities are implementing, every day. So they are also coming with new ideas. They are also coming up with new ways to how they should get the data.
What is digital arrest? You're just mentioning about
Yeah.
digital arrest. Somebody got arrested for 1 or 2 hours. What exactly is digital arrest?
Yeah, so recently we interviewed a businessman from Shillong, and he actually got a Supreme Court order, which obviously was fake, where it was mentioned that there was some parcel or there was some delivery in his name, and there were some fake passports in his name, right? So the person somebody called him, from the police authority, and then it was transferred to the CBI, and all these were scammers. So, but they made him stay there, and they made him contact nobody for at least 1 or 2 hours. So that's digitally arrest, where somebody impersonates to be a government official, and they actually keep you trapped in that place to not contact with anyone from the outside world, not even your family members, not even anyone, because and recently also one of the interns in our Data Yug society, their parents got a call that your son has been accused of this crime and they're in this police station, you'll have to pay this. So that's basically digitally arrest, where they actually trap you into believing something that is yours, but they're actually trying to keep you and trying to get the data, that credentials from you.
Correct. There was this video that surfaced on the internet where he impersonates as a police officer.
Police officer, yeah.
A real life police officer
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you mean by
Yeah, yeah, I think that video you're talking about, the person receives a WhatsApp video call, and somebody is in the police uniform. Yeah, so they basically tell you that you've been accused of this crime, and you'll have to pay this amount. You have to come, and you have to give this. I mean, in fact, scammers have reached to such levels that they're even completely duplicating a police station. In Bihar, there was a case where a complete police station has been constructed just for that purpose, for people who have been digitally arrested to come there and actually get the amount from.
Society you're living in.
Yeah,
So do
definitely.
you think COVID has played a major part in people trying to find new ways of earning money by scamming people?
I think as a human beings, I think we've always found new ways to like just get our way of making money. And I wouldn't say cybercrime did not exist before COVID, but I think after COVID we all moved to our devices a lot, right? We were confined to our room so much that if maybe my screen time was, suppose my screen time was 4 to 5 hours before COVID, maybe staying at home just spiked that screen time, and I was on my phone most of the times, and I'm browsing more website, I'm looking at more ads. So I think that has just moved us to being more inclined into our phones, and that has really encouraged, I guess, scammers to find new ways how they can scam people, or how they can find ways to get that data from people. So I think after COVID 2020, I think there was a rise of almost 86% of cybercrime after 2020. So I think that has to be attributed to a lot, because we were all confined to our rooms, and we are all moving into that space of digitalization. If you see even the quick commerce, right, this Blinkit, Zepto, all these companies only came in existence because of that, because now we all needed convenience at our home. We needed our groceries to be delivered in 10 to 15 minutes. We didn't want to step outside our house. So that has moved us into a very rapid digitalization, and I think that's one of the things that has attributed to being cybercrime being rising after COVID.
Isn't that a very deadly thing, or a deadly notion to have that? The notion, in fact, is this, that internet is such a new thing for human civilization as a whole, and especially when you talk about India. I think it was after Geo, pre-Geo, that Indians have actually started using internet at a wider range.
Yeah.
I remember when we had to pay 249 for 1 GB of data.
Internet was made cheaper, so
Data.
yeah.
So internet was made cheaper, in fact
Free.
for 1 or 3 years, in fact 1 year maybe.
Correct.
People used internet only after Geo. I mean, Geo revolution was actually in India. That's a major game changer,
Yeah.
so to say. So from that standpoint, from 2016 to 2020, if you say that internet crime has double, triple, or I mean, it's gone beyond leaps and bounds. Isn't that a very worrying trend?
It is definitely a worrying trend, this is why, like, if I have to again talk about the kind of awareness programs we do, right? We just don't cover the types of cybercrime or what is has been happening. We also try to cover about, how the students about, because what we believe is that we wanna drive this movement through kids, through the future generation, right? Who will be coming into the system, who will be using, who will be our authorities in future, who will be the future, ministers or different officials. So we wanna build this culture where everybody understands the ethical use of internet. Everybody knows how they can create a healthy space in a digital ecosystem. And if I have to talk about worrying trends, when we go to these schools, where, like, suppose we went to the Loreto Convent, which is one of the most reputed institutes in Shillong, what we understood there is that kids, of course, there are kids who have been cyberbullied as well. And cyberbullying, like just like cybercrime, cyberbullying has taken a huge rise, after COVID. Because after COVID, if you see that the whole trend of, kids coming to the social media, kids giving that false date of birth, and, making the social media account, creating content, has really taken a rise. So that has also given rise to cyberbullying. And when we talk to kids, kids are very reluctant. I mean, kids at that age, they are very hesitant to talk to their parents about it. If somebody has harassed them or given a very or if they've given a very threatening DM on their social media account, they'll not be coming to their parents and sharing that, because they are in that age where they want to keep few things to themselves. So when we talk to the kids and when we understand, because we give them a survey form, we understand that lot of kids have been cyberbullied, and people don't take that seriously. Even parents don't take this seriously. If you go to the parents, we have understood is that if they talk to the parents, parents just, they just say it, okay, it's fine, you just delete that person or block that person, but it is actually a very big issue, because it can take a toll on that kid's mental health, right? If somebody has commented something that's really hurting them, if somebody has been, sharing their passion on social media, and if somebody is trolling them, it really takes a toll. So what we have understood is that we wanna drive this movement toward from the future generation. This is why we have done awareness programs starting from, schools like St. Mary's, Loreto Convent, where it's a mostly girl-dominated school. So they have been victim of cyberbullying mostly. And one very interesting thing also that we have understood, which we did not really know, is that parents' impact of using smartphone on kids, right? I mean, we think that, okay, parents these days, you see parents being on Facebook, and they've been they are also into that movement of scrolling. So when we asked kids, what is your screen time, so they basically, obviously they are not gonna say the truth, but they say that, okay, 2 hours, 3 hours or something. And when we asked them, do you think your screen time is a problem, some kids had the audacity to stand up and say, no, my screen time is not a problem, but my parents' screen time is a problem. Because parents are not able to give that time to the kids. Parents are not able to actually focus that what my kid is up to in school, because of course they have work. I understand every parents, maybe they have a work, maybe both parents are working. But I think when you are at home, that's what we do a research and survey on. It's like, when you are at home as a parent, I think there should be a space which is not digitally cluttered, where televisions, where smartphones are not there, and you're just talking to your kid, about what happened in school. Is there something bothering you? I mean, just a normal conversation between a parent and kid. And sadly, that conversation is missing in at homes these days, because of phones, because of our devices, because we are so caught up with our devices, we are so caught up with our social media world, that we are even neglecting our kids. So I mean, as we are working towards this movement, we are understanding a lot of insights. We gather a lot of insights, and we speak with authorities. We speak with different CSOs as well, civil society organizations, about what can be done to get this right.
Correct. I think that's a very valid point that you just put out, that, in fact, Kate actually brought out. things have changed.
Yep.
It's not like how it used to be before. Because I remember when we simply had a match during my childhood days, our childhood days, in fact. When we had a cricket match, India versus Pakistan, or India
Yeah.
versus anybody, in fact, Sri Lanka or any other friendly nation,
Right.
the entire streets A used to be empty. B, the family used to gather around the television.
Yeah.
At least the brothers, sisters,
Yeah.
and the father, mother figure, whosoever, used to sit down together and watch that match.
Hmm.
At this present day, what happens is, maybe the parent is in their bedroom, the brother is in his bedroom, and the sister is in
Yeah.
her bedroom. They're all watching the same content. If not cricket, maybe they're watching, say for instance, KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati, but they're not watching it together like the way they used to
Yeah.
before. When you go to any other public or any other social gathering or a birthday party, for instance, or any other family gatherings, you see those kids at this moment, they're always on their cell phones.
Cell phones.
And not just the kids, even the elderly people, mothers, fathers, and uncle, auntie, they're all on their cell phones, right? They head down and they're scrolling. It's like an epidemic.
It is an epidemic, I would say. The whole, what do you call it, the scrolling culture, right? It has really taken over, and I think that's how the social media platforms are built, right? It has been designed to get us hooked into it. I'm not sure if you've watched that. There's a series on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. It actually covers how Meta, all those computer science engineers who actually build Facebook or Instagram, how they have actually built these platforms to, get you hooked into it, to get you, into a place where you feel the whole world is inside there. You feel like Facebook, Instagram, if I have my phone with me and I have my, Meta or my Facebook, Instagram or my WhatsApp, I'm fine, right? I don't need to be talking to anybody. That is also making a lot of introverts within us. I mean, they call themselves introvert because they think that they are hooked into their phones and they are not talking to other people outside, so they have become introverts. But it's actually because of the phones and how social media has been built.
That's a very interesting point again that that you just mentioned. Who is actually an introvert? Now that's a personality type, correct? Just because I am shy does not mean I'm introvert.
Exactly.
An introvert is somebody who does not share a lot about himself or herself. That is introvertedness. Introvertedness or being an introvert necessarily does not have to mean that you cannot be a public speaker.
Right.
Now, a public speaker can also be an introvert, correct? Correct?
Yeah, definitely.
So, right. So, when you are into that notion of scrolling and staying here, putting your head and being trapped inside a cell phone, it definitely will become difficult for people to actually make physical communication happen in real life, correct?
Yeah.
So we need to devise out ways of getting out of it.
Yeah, and this is why we encourage kids to when they are home after their studies or something, to just keep their phones away, after they are done with their work. See, yeah,
Digital
detox. Yeah, basically we call them digital detox. So it's very definite that we cannot tell them to just not use their smartphones. I mean, nobody can escape that. We all are really reliant on it now completely. But I think there should be like I said, there should be a time space, allotted in your day that you are free from any digital devices, where you are actually talking to your parents or you're actually talking to your friends, and just having that in-person interaction does wonders. And like you said, you mentioned about our childhood. I remember my childhood back in Arunachal Pradesh, where we used to play football after we back from school. We would watch cricket, we would play cricket, we would also play football. And then when we are back home, maybe my mother would allow me to just watch television for half an hour. So we were not really that, our generation was not really dependent on digital devices a lot. But as the coming generation is coming, kids these days, they know what is chat gpt, they know how to do their assignment, so they are just becoming smarter. But as in the process of becoming smarter, we are also creating a generation of people who are not really comfortable in this social spaces, who just feel like they don't belong there. And this is the reason why I think we should be encouraging kids to just come up and talk about things that makes them uncomfortable sometimes, because that pushes them outside the comfort zone. And when I talk about kids, I would also like to mention there's a platform called ncii.org. So kids or girls whose consensual intimate images can be shared on online, if they have been threatened like that, so there's a platform called ncii.org where they can actually reach out and all the images can be deleted. So all these things, we try to teach kids from now, so that they also start a revolution within their friends, within their circle, or within their community as well, right? Where they actually interact with, suppose there's a girl who goes back home and actually talks to her house help, who is not maybe so literate, but when she talks about those things that she learned from a session, is actually something good for the person who is not educated. It will be a good learning curve for her also. This is why we have started this movement with kids. And last year we done few sessions. We had done a lot of sessions with kids, and yeah, this has been a like something that we have understood, and we are still gathering a lot of insights about what can be done better, yeah, for the community.
Right, right. So, do you think online scams? I mean, it's not about you thinking at this moment, because you've already pointed out that scams have risen. I mean, by many folds.
Many folds, yeah.
What are the specific sort of trends that are prevalent at the moment? The ones apart from the ones that we usually see on television, because I think scammers are way beyond where we are thinking at this moment, and especially there is a sort of, I wouldn't really call it hatred, but I think news or not new media, but the traditional television media is slow. It does not really run at the pace at which the present generation works. The new media, to an extent, yeah, but I think scammers are way ahead of the curve. Reason why they are scammers. Right?
Yep.
So what are the sort of scams that may come into prevalence, because you are dealing with you are in that you're dealing with such cases.
Yeah.
So what is that sort of trend that you can actually predict?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned two of those really prevalent scams. That is, one is digital arrest, where somebody impersonates a government official and they try to trap you into a situation for an hour or 2 hours and get some credentials from you. The other one, like I said, investment scams. I mean, investment scams, I think it will not stop, because every day people are looking ways to make more money. If you are into stock market, if you're into Bitcoin, if you're into all these things, people are looking for tips. People are looking for shortcuts to just make that bucks. So investment scam is one of those. And romance scam, right? I mean, yeah, romance scam is also in huge rise because of platforms like Tinder, Bumble. So all these platforms has just given that what can I call it, an independence for you to choose from a wide array of people, and that has given really scammers an opportunity to to tempt you into something. So romance scam is one of those things, where if you are just swiping right or swiping left on Tinder and you see somebody attractive, then you stop for it and you have a chat. But I think you should also be realistic that it's a person that you have just met on a device. You've been just interacting with that person on device. You should not be completely getting fooled in love, that you feel that, okay, I have known this person for 100 years, and I've known this person forever, and I can give all this data to that person. So I think people have to be realistic sometimes about the expectations online, about, okay, you can meet I mean, there have been so many stories where I've seen that person has been matched online and they got married later. So yeah, of course, there is a good way of using those platforms. I don't want to, say that these platforms are ruining the whole culture or the whole thing community. But I think there's a way to use it. There's a healthy way of keeping yourself to it, and yeah, there's this new scam because I think the wedding season is on. So there's a wedding card scam that has been happening. Yeah. So you receive a message, you receive a APK file on WhatsApp, and you click on it. It's a malware basically, and the malware reaches your device, and the person has access to your device directly. So I mean, the thumb rule is just to not click on anything, right, that you receive from a stranger. I mean, the message can be as tempting as, okay, you have won 5 lakh rupees. Please click on this link and you'll be directed to this. But have you really won 5 lakh rupees by doing nothing?
That is predictable. When they say that you want 5 lakh rupees,
Yeah.
claim it. That is predictable. But say suppose I get a wedding card scam.
Scam,
I mean,
yeah.
that is something. That,
Yeah, I mean, if somebody says...
exactly. I mean, I wouldn't really question twice
Yeah.
whether I should be opening this or not opening this, because it could just be of a friend.
Of a friend.
Whose number I don't really have
Yep.
saved.
Yeah.
So, good one. I mean, that blew my mind.
Yeah, so that has been on the rise because of the wedding season. I think there has been some people who also got victimized because of this. So if you receive any link, right, if you receive any kind of a thing which is from somebody that you don't know, I think, yeah, I mean, sometimes your behavior can just push you to, download it and just open it. So, I mean, that cannot really be stopped. But I think what I would urge is that you at least think twice, because you have received that from a stranger, before downloading that APK file and opening it, and the malware reaches your device. So that is one of the scams that has been trending, wedding card scams. So yeah, these are basically the kind of scams that has been happening, that's been prevalent in our country. But like you said, scammers are one step ahead from us. So they will be innovating, I would say. They will be coming with new ways about how, they can trap people into believing something that is not true. Jamtara, if you, I'm not,
Right.
yeah, Jamtara, right? I mean, the whole town has been run, in the economy of that town is been run by scammers. So such is the, situation of our country, where even youth who maybe are not educated, who are not that literate, but they are being taught by people, to how to scam people, about what kind of tonality they can use when they are talking over to you on the phone to just sound that professional, so the whole training has been going on because of that. So I think we just have to be on touch about new trends, about what kind of scams are happening. And we should also, as citizens, we all are browsing so much on our internet. So I think at least once or twice in a day, we can also go to the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, which is cybercrime.gov.in, where they actually release a lot of materials about what kind of scams are happening, to just educate the citizens. Of course, in that portal, you can also file a complaint if you have been scammed, and an authority will get back to you. There's also a cybercrime helpline, which is 1930, the National Cybercrime Helpline. So that is 1930. But just to educate yourself, I think we should be, checking this kind of things like, NCRB portal, or even Cyber Dosti I4C. So that is one account made by the government of India to just be on social media and educate people through humor, through all the ways that is more engaging, so that people actually understand that, there can be many ways that a scammer tries to catch you. So the only way to protect yourself is to be aware of it, to be in touch of what's happening around yourself. Yeah. I wouldn't be so sure about about Guwahati, but where we are working in Shillong, so there's a whole new wing that has been set up by the Meghalaya Police, which is the cyber wing. And yeah, if you are scammed, or if you have been a victim of cybercrime, you can reach out to them. So there's a different helpline number for the Meghalaya as well. And there's, of course, like I said, the national helpline number, which is 1930. If you have been scammed, or if you feel that you've been digitally arrested, I think that's somewhere where you can reach out. There's the National Cybercrime Helpline. And if there's a case that you want to file or complain that, if you've been scammed by somebody, who was in a business transaction with you, or if you want to take the help of digital portal, then the National Cybercrime Portal can really help you, which is the cybercrime.gov.in. You can go there, you can report a complaint, you can track your complaint, you can track your status, what has happened to the complaint. So there are some, I would say, things that authorities are doing, and I think authorities are now picking up the pace, because now they have realized that a lot of money has been lost of Indian citizens onto this scam. I was just looking at some data where I saw that in 2023, in just 4 months, Indian lost almost 1700 crores of rupees in just 4 months. So,
1700
and that was 2023, and I'm not sure about the number now, but statistics really say that authorities have to buckle up their laces with citizens to catch these criminals, or to just protect the citizens, because catching these criminals is the next step after somebody has been a victim. But before somebody have becomes a victim, I think the awareness has to be there, and authorities, just not NGOs like us, but authorities should also focus on building some awareness programs where they do a cyber show, or they do something along the lines of this, where they actually educate citizens, where they actually educate government officials as well. And recently, I think Home Minister Amit Shah has also released a statement that there will be 5,000 cyber commandos who will be deployed in India. So cyber commandos will be people who will be taking care of a different blocks or a different area. If they have to carry an awareness program, if a citizen wants to come and talk to somebody, if they're reluctant to go to the cyber police station, they can talk to the cyber commandos. So there has been a lot of things that the authorities are doing, but we believe with the pace that is picking up, it's still less. Hopefully that authorities understand that it's really a big problem that we should be focusing on. Yeah.
So you mean the gap that needs to be filled will be done by society and non-governmental organization like
Yeah.
Data Yug, which will solve the and will fill the particular gap that exists.
Definitely, I believe there is still a big gap in not just cybercrime, right? Just people, when they are when they are a victim of a crime, Indian people are still very hesitant to go to a police station and actually file that, because they believe that police will not be helping them. The authorities will just be abusing them with something and just saying that your case is not relevant. So that problem is always there in our Indian system. In our so But I think when NGOs like us, we come through, and we start an awareness initiative, we start doing case consultation, we start helping those people to just bridge that gap, between people and authorities. I think that will be really helpful for the authorities and also for the citizen as a collective. Yeah.
Correct. So, how many cases have you, as an organization, been able to tackle and solve?
So that's a different service that we are providing, where we do case filing and consultation. Lately, if I have to just give you a number, there has been few cases, around 10 to 15 cases that we have actually received, where we actually receive people who have come to us, and they've actually talked to us about what happened to them, and we've been able to actually save some people from, because some of them, they were almost ready to give their credentials or give their data to them, so they've just contacted us in the right time, and we've just been able to tell them to just refrain them from doing so. And yeah, with the authorities, I think authorities also want NGOs like us to take charge of that, because there's so much, because the workforce, right, that the authorities that has been allotted to the cybercrime thing is still very less, because it's still not considered a huge problem, at least in our region. But I think as more people are coming to the cybercrime police station, I think police will take a notice of this, authorities will take a notice of this, and employ more workforce, and have more collaboration with such NGOs and such civil society organization, where they can work closely to just build that awareness and that movement, to just make more people aware of this kind of things that are happening around us.
So, is it because of the lack of awareness, that is a reason behind the lack of numbers in the case story that you are presenting?
Yeah, so we still hear this from authorities, right? That it is still sort of an embarrassment for people to come to the police station and say that, okay, I am this, and I have lost 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs of rupees into this scam. It is still sort of an embarrassment statement for a lot of people because, okay, you could be educated and you just got, trapped into such silly thing, right? So that has been the reason why the cybercrime police station, the cyber wing of Meghalaya police, doesn't have the exact numbers of how much actually the cybercrime is happening in the state, because most of the cases are not actually filed. Most of the people are not coming because they might think, okay, it's an insignificant amount, it's not really a huge amount, and the whole embarrassment from the community or from your co-workers that, okay, you've been scammed. So that is a stigma that is still there, that if you have become a victim of cybercrime, that maybe I should just keep it to myself and maybe not file it. So that is the reason why we are still not able to track a lot of it that is happening in the state or in our country as well.
So, do you think we will also need counselors to be dealing with such issues?
Yeah, we definitely need counselors. We definitely need people who can actually educate, citizens about how they filing a case and they talking to the authorities can actually save some other person, right? If they have been scammed with some new kind of a trend that is going on, can actually help other people to be aware of it and actually save themselves. So we need people, we need to encourage people to come up and actually talk about what kind of cybercrime they face or what kind of you know trend that has been they have been seeing. So this is the thing we have to do. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Just the way you mentioned how, just because I'm educated, the people really feel embarrassed. Say I get scammed and I'm educated.
Hmm.
It makes me very embarrassed to go up to a police station and say that, I have won a lottery, but I got scammed instead of the
Yeah.
amount that was promised to me. Uh, what, even though, I swallow my pride and go to the police station and say that, I've been scammed. Are there any laws that protect me in such a scenario, or am I doomed?
No, of course there are laws that has been formulated in this such cases where if you go to the police station and if you think that something has happened with you, so police
Wrongfully done.
wrongfully done to you, so police will actually be assisting you in that, and they'll actually be telling you what are your rights, what kind of things can be done, and police will also be very transparent with you if that amount of money can actually be retrieved from the scam, because there are a lot of different kind of scams that happen, and sometimes the whole amount of money that you've been scammed cannot be retrieved because it has gone out of the system, right? Because once a scam happens, the amount that has been taken from you has been transferred to somebody who has no idea that this has happened, who has had done nothing to do this, who had had no idea. So one of the cases where we saw the person who got scammed, his when we tracked it, we saw that the person's amount of money has been transferred to an account in Rajasthan to a person who actually doesn't even know how to do a signature, who is who is not literate, they have just targeted these people and they've taken their bank accounts details and they're just using their bank accounts to do this. Yeah.
Just that. Right, so 26th of January, right? India is celebrating Republic Day.
Yeah.
I might not recall the exact number of years, but India is celebrating its Republic Day on the 26th of January.
Yeah.
Any special messages or something that, or an event that Data Yug Society is planning on that auspicious day?
Yeah, so we're still talking with the authorities to do something in Polo Ground where the Republic Day parade happens. So we're still talking with the authorities about if we can set up an awareness booth, because there'll be a lot of students, a lot of officials coming that day. So if we can set up an awareness booth where people come up and actually understand the work we're doing and just getting those basic security advices from us about how they can keep their socials account protected, keeping the two-factor authentication. People are still not really aware what is two-factor authentication. People like us, maybe we are aware because we've been using so many different software tools, but there are still a lot of people who need to understand enabling two-factor authentication, keeping the social media account private at times, where if you are not building a personal, I believe, that's my belief, that if you are not building a personal brand and where you're sharing your own private pictures, I think keeping your social media account private would be a smarter idea to do. If you have a personal brand, if you are sharing your passion, if you're sharing a hobby on social media, it makes all the sense to have your public account on social media. But suppose if there's a kid who is just 14 years old and she's making reels, or if she's making any kind of content, just people on social media, you don't know what kind of person you'll be facing, right? That kid doesn't know what kind of people she'll be facing. So they with the AI, actually the AI, picture morphing or video morphing has become such a thing. So I think we all should understand what are the basic security things we can do. So this is what we are trying to do on Republic Day. Or we could also be creating a campaign where we actually interview some officials about if they've encountered any government departments or any government system being hacked, because these days scammers are trying that as well. They're just not focusing on individuals, they are focusing on organizations, companies, because these are the people who have a big heap of data, who with that data can be utilized, and that data can be processed for all those crime. So yeah, we are talking with the authorities. We'll be doing something for sure, but if we can do an awareness booth, I think that can really help us to get more people join our movement, because that's what we are looking right now. We're looking more people to join our movement and understand the work we are doing, so that they come up and they actually also invent and create a way for this kind of things. Yeah.
Lovely. I wish you all the very best with your campaign moving forward, especially the 26th January Republic Day campaign.
Yeah.
All the best with that. And AI is something that really fascinates me, and the kind of scams that we may have to deal with is and will relate to AI. So this is a topic for another conversation, for another podcast. Today it was great hosting you. I love the kind of spirit, the enthusiasm, and also the data that you have, and the kind of knowledge that you have, and the accuracy with which you you've dealt them with is really inspiring. And I think people need to hear you, and you need to make this count. You have the power, and I'm sure that people will one day make the best use of such organizations by coming forward, talking about their stories, and you making an impact. So thank you so much for being with us, for giving us that opportunity to host you. With this, we come to this end. We come to the end of this particular episode. Thank you for joining in, and I will see you in the next one.
Thanks Amit.
Thank you so much, man.